Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Tuesday, the 4th of October, 2016. Started the week off very, very slow and narrow, partially from the Jewish holiday, undoubtedly, and so hopefully the rest of the week will be an improvement over that. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form, the proper technical way to look at the market. And we've been very, very flat here now for a while. We've talked about this ad nauseum because there's nothing else to talk about when you don't move. Nothing changed on Monday. So let's just go through what the various indices did. Crude oil rose another 42.5 cents to 48.67. That's near the highs of the last 2 months or so. Sorry about that. Gold down $2.30. Nothing there. I mean, even gold's been so flat since June. S&P cash index lost 7, and part of that was a gap, as you'll see when we get to the intraday. So there really was not much action at all during the session. NDX lost 9, NASDAQ 100. SOX lost 6, still hanging near highs. Biotech's down a buck or a point after the 13 sell signal 8 days ago. The VIX gained 28 cents, which is a blip, obviously, for the VIX. Trend closing at 1.09. That takes the 10-day moving average to 1.03. Let's see, let me count backwards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So over the next 4 days, if we go the next 4 days, we'll wipe out 3 of those 4 days. Actually, if you go next week, we're going to drop off some pretty high trend readings from back 2 weeks ago. That'll bring the moving average down unless we replace it with some high readings. So if we get some under ones over the next few days here, by Friday, you might see that 10-day moving average really drop back down. NASDAQ volume only 1.46 with the holiday environment, sort of something I hadn't put on the radar on the weekend report. Otherwise, I would have told you Monday's probably going to be a bit of a waste. NASDAQ advanced decline ratio negative 488. That means 488 more stocks down than up. New York negative 42, almost the same number. Google lost $3.68 ahead of tomorrow's big announcements for Google phones, tablets, home, Google Home, and everything else. Could be one of the bigger Google announcements of all time. So I think that's tomorrow morning. I think noon Eastern time it begins, maybe 1 p.m. Eastern time in the morning here on the West Coast. Apple down 53 cents, no big deal. Amazon down 57 cents, but very near all-time highs. Still almost a new closing high once again. Netflix had a breakout session here, up 4. Keep in mind with Netflix, that now gives us, because we're above the 8th candle, that now actually gives us a secret 13 sell signal. So just be aware of that. All right, let's take a look at the 5-minute futures. So you can see the end of Thursday where there was a little volatility. Friday, the gap up, push higher, and drift in the afternoon for the month end and quarter end. And then here we are to start the week. Small gap down about, what did we do, about 4 points, 5 points? Actually, no, 6 points and closed down 7. So we closed 1 point lower than where we opened. Never really got anything going in terms of action in one direction or another. Swept the highs once, swept the lows once, and that was pretty much it. Traded about less than half of average daily range on the futures. And here's the NASDAQ side. Same deal except for the gap fill. All right, so what do we have tomorrow? Tomorrow there's no economic data at all. Interesting, on a Tuesday. So we're just relying on the fact that, back to work hopefully. We still have a lot of data coming out rest of the week. Factory orders, trade balance, ISM, services, initial and continuing jobless claims, non-farm payrolls, unemployment. It's all ahead. So the better part of the trading week is certainly ahead of us at this point, I would think. Hopefully, if we can get that NASDAQ volume back to that 1.8 billion shares or so and start getting to work. Next Monday is the stock market's open, but banks are not, and it's a federal holiday. So it's one of those weird, there's 2 of them a year where this happens, which will be worse, make it worse than today. Matter of fact, if I pull up the volume chart of the NASDAQ and scroll back to October of last year, you can always spot the one low day in October. That's it right there. So, it was only 1.2 billion shares last year. Could be worse this year. Keep that in mind, but we've still got all the rest of this week, and then after that and the rest of the month with nothing else in our way. Hopefully some excitement. We got the election about, was it 4 weeks off? 4 or 5? Can't wait to get that over with. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal 12. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great Trading Tuesday.